we gotta start this off with horns.
Boom, boom, boom. Bing, bing.
Whoa, what's going on
Ta-da, ta-da. Here we are. Oh my gosh, you guys. It was worth it, though. Look at it. It's gorgeous. All the frizzies are gone. Didn't know it was going to take that long, but always worth it. That and conversation with Tara is just...
beautiful. It's always a fun time.
It's hard not to yap.
Mm-hmm. We did a lot of that in the beginning. I also got my hair done today. We did a lot of that in the beginning, and then, I don't know, man, she put me to sleep.
I've never fallen asleep in the chair like that.
I just felt my
There's
head
this
just
one
falling in
time
different ways.
I fell asleep getting a full body massage with my clothes on, sitting in a chair, and I don't know, when they got to my feet and they were doing something to my feet, and I just went, oh, I was out. And I woke up, oh my gosh, what happened? Like you pressed a pressure point or something? And that was my off button. I was gone. So cool. I was working housekeeping then, though.
Some super blissful sleep that was very much needed.
Probably.
Mm-hmm.
Probably. And I had just had Sky. Yeah.
I'm gonna see if I can invite her, see if she maybe accepted my friend request. There it is. Boom.
Oh, cool.
Alright. Oh, I jumped all the way up.
Inviting the hairdresser.
Mm-hmm.
She's a fun businesswoman to talk to as well.
Yeah. And
Bouncing ideas off of each other. We were chit-chatting about the upcoming vendor show in October.
oh, yeah. I forgot all about that.
We need to do more for that and posting and advertising for it. That's coming up quick. But today I wanted to talk about a documentary called The Breath of Fire. But I'm going to start with a trigger warning. Trigger warning. This docuseries covers cultural appropriation, spiritual abuse, workplace toxicity, and allegations
Sorry, I didn't mean to.
allegations linked to sexual misconduct. Trigger warning. If any of this bothers you, you probably don't want to watch today's episode.
Wait, how did you, get captions on the live?
Because your phone does it?
My phone?
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen captions on the lives when I watch on my phone.
Because we're doing it on your laptop, probably.
Oh yeah, and that is definitely a new option. That's cool. Sorry guys, I'm really distracted today, can you tell?
That's okay. Gives time for a trigger warning to be placed. So tonight we're unpacking The Breath of Fire, the unbelievable story of Guru Jagat.
Hi guys, Iris, Rick, Charlene.
What?
I'm just now joining, so if there's others that are on here that I'm not seeing, hello to you guys as well.
We have comment?
I don't know if we have comments. I'm trying to understand. No comments yet.
Okay. Cool.
This is set up so different.
It'd be cool if it popped up over here in the comments section on the computer. You'd think that there'd be more
I'm gonna figure something out.
response.
I'm gonna tinker with this while you were doing your thing, because I want to know why. I want to know why I got such a small screen to begin with. You know?
Ooh. Oh no.
And this one.
Yeah.
Ooh.
No, that
That
makes
made
it
you
smaller.
so tiny.
Alright, anyways, so tonight we're unpacking The Breath of Fire, the story about Guru Jagat, a 4-part HBO documentary series that reveals how Kundalini Yoga, in the way that it's commonly taught in the West, how it was built on manipulation, exploitation, and charismatic leadership. We're going to dive into how the teachings can be, how spiritual teachings can be toxic, and why it matters for all of us who are seeking transformation. So, the other night I was watching this documentary. I love documentaries, and it goes into how in the 1970s we had a lot of people from the Middle East coming to the United States. And this one gentleman we'll call him YB because I'm gonna butcher his name. Um, he came over from the Middle East, and a lot of people that came over from the Middle East were wearing turbans. And at that time, a lot of people who were wearing turbans were assumed to be yoga masters or gurus. And people came up to YB and assumed that he was a yoga instructor, and he just went with it. It's like, yeah, I'm a yoga instructor. And he started talking about Kundalini and the Sikh faith, and he had a quick gathering, and he just made stuff up. He made stuff up. There were points in the documentary where he was telling people to bark like a dog and make certain noises, and he was just cussing and degrading people while he was talking to them, talking about how...
Was it like gradual? Did it start out where
it was gradual?
Like, so he just slowly tested the waters to get people comfortable with accepting something that shouldn't... Wow, that's...
Mm-hmm. He got a quick following,
That's wild.
and was calling it Kundalini, and it is part of the Sikh tradition and faith that they practice this. And Kundalini encompassed like a whole lifestyle. A vegetarian diet, there was a strict regimen from like morning to evening that you participated in. There were lots of mantras that you were supposed to recite, and it was very disciplined. So this YB guy starts Kundalini Yoga, and it's revealed throughout the documentary that this ended up becoming a cult. And kind of like a cult, you've got the main person, and then you've got like the disciples, the council people that are really close to the main guy, and then below that you've got like the devoted apostles. So it was structured in the same way. And there was another gentleman, and I can't remember his name for the life of me. He was part of the council, and he was also instructing other people how to teach Kundalini Yoga. And
hello, babe. Thank you for joining us.
This girl named Katie Griggs went to this well-known Kundalini yoga studio, and this main YB guy had gained such a huge following that it had spread all over the United States. It was in Japan, in Europe, it was all over. And he started a company called 3HO. It was like healthy, holy, happy, healthy, and holy were the 3 H's. So it was 3HO, and that had spread all over. So in 3HO, they were teaching other yoga instructors to teach Kundalini. And Katie Griggs went and took a class. And Katie Griggs at the time was well known as Kundalini Katie.
Kundalini. When did this take place?
Katie came around in like 2009.
But like when did this?
In the 1970s.
In the 70s.
In like 1976.
Okay.
Let me pull it up real quick.
Damn.
Yogi Bahan. Well, let's just click on his name.
He was born in 1929.
Yep, and he died in 2004. He was the main guy who started the Healthy, Happy, Holy organization. It was with over 300 centers in 35 countries.
That is wild. Like, man, can you imagine the amount of, I don't know, in this sense, I guess I would call it ego, that you would have knowing that you started out something from nothing and brought it to be that big, and it was something that, like, you didn't really even have knowledge of. You just kind of went with it. Like, wild. It shows you, like, the the level of capability of humans and their own potential. Like, I mean, this is a more perverse way of seeing it, but at its core, you really can make something out of nothing, right?
In 1969, Yogi Bhajan arrived in the U.S. and began teaching Kundalini Yoga and Sikh Dharma and founding the 3HO organization.
So he showed up in America in '69, but he probably was already
in
really
1970
well
he was becoming more and more well established. So well established that this Katie Griggs character, this lady, in 2009 when she started taking classes, this other, I should just look it up. I should have the names. They're hard names to pronounce. But this council member of Yogi Bhajan, he was teaching Katie Kundalini, and he took her under his wing and ended up eventually bringing her up on stage with him. And at this time, gurus and yogis were male. It was not known to have a female yogi, a female guru, and that was Katie. So Katie became like the it girl in the early 2000s, and she was like the
next wave.
The it girl in the spiritual community. She had her own like astrology videos that she was posting as Kundalini Katie, and then when she was taken under the wing and taught Kundalini through this guru, she had said that the main yogi guy who died in 2004, before he died, he personally gave her a spiritual name, and it became Guru Jagat, however it's pronounced, but that she says that was given to her by the main guy, and nobody could find if that was true or not, or like if she ever actually talked to the guy.
Because he's
any
dead,
pictures,
so there's no like full evidence of that whole situation. Wow, so this is like deceit built on top of deceit, or potential deceit, I should say, right?
This YB guy went as far as to control his followers. Slowly but surely, they were supposed to bring their life problems to him and come to him because he took them on because they're broken and messed up. And they need to know that. He's going to fix them.
Oh, man.
So they need to run their problems through him so that he can guide them in the right direction. And then it got to the point to where they were asking about his turban, and they wanted to know why he was wearing it and everything. And he wanted them to wear white so that the color white would extend their aura an extra foot. And the turban was supposed to cover their head, their crown chakra. And in the documentary, it didn't go further to explain why, but eventually all his followers were wearing white and wearing turbans. All of his followers were wearing white and wearing turbans. He had a morning routine schedule. He had a proper way to poop for all of his followers. He promised to find them their soulmates. So he would set up arranged marriages, and he would conduct the marriage ceremonies. And then further on, when they procreated and had children, they needed to bring their children to him so that he could make sure they were raising them properly and not getting all their icky traumatic stuff onto their children. They needed to be careful with their children. So he told them how to raise their children. And then it went even further than that, and he told them that America is messed up. There's rape, there's gangs, there's shootings, there's drugs. America's awful. So to properly care for your children, if you really want the best for them and you want to show that you're a real devotee, then you need to give me your children so that I can send them to school in India, where the temple is that this religion stems from. The temple is in India. So he took their kids and sent them to India, and they gave their children to him. And their kids were abused sexually, physically,
mentally,
in all the ways. They were slapped if they did anything wrong. They were hit. They were chastised, they were made fun of. They came back with parasites and worms in their system. And people were scared to go against this YB guru. He was the main guy. You don't go against him. They had already given everything to this guru. And they're paying tithing to him. And he goes on about spiritual materialism and how it's okay for him to have all this jewelry and all this food and all these crazy cars in the places that he rented out, and it's okay for him because he's the guru. And he's not paying his devotees for their work, for their labor, because it was considered seva, their devotion to the organization was cleaning the property, doing taxes, and all sorts of other stuff. And slowly there were allegations that came out around the same time that Katie was getting her classes from her guru. And they were just covering it up in all sorts of different ways, denying what was happening. One of the girls who was sexually harassed by YB, because along with raising the children and stuff, he was grooming them. He was grooming them, and then when they turned 18, he took their virginity. It was a gift to them that he took that. It was a sacred, special moment that he gave them. They had that opportunity to be with him. And then forced abortions and other stuff were alleged in the documentary. Yeah, so some of that was coming to surface, and I think around 2012, I'd have to go back and look, one of the people who had followed YB came out with a book after he died in 2004. It was years after he died. Somebody finally came forward and wrote a book about what he had done to them. And they made it mostly about them. And in the documentary, they felt like because of that, that triggered other people to tell their side of the story that wasn't told in the book. And more females came out about the sexual abuse that they had experienced with YB. And this was all just slowly getting pushed aside while this other guru's training Katie to take over. And he convinces Katie to open up her own yoga studio. And she gets her parents to help fund it because this was her adventure. This was her purpose in life. And she starts this yoga studio, and she gains this huge following. And Katie gets like brand deals. She has her own clothing line. They also have the yogi tea, and everything else. And she slowly does the same thing. She has tiered memberships. People start paying more money to spend just alone time with her, and she also starts the tithing, where people pay a tithing to her, and then if people want more one-on-one extra time, then they could pay their tithing directly to her, and just not take paychecks anymore for the company. And she hires other females, and it's around the same time as the Me Too movement, which is weird, with the allegations that were being denied by the rest of the company, that it seems like Katie wasn't aware of or something, because she promotes women empowerment. Her big thing is like boss babe, CEO babe, making money, working woman, and women empowerment, all feminists. And she's encouraging people like with special mantras that'll help them earn money, and workshops and whatnot.
That's wild. That is insane. Like, I can't wait to
it
watch this.
It was wild. Anyways, I watched this documentary, and it had me thinking that I don't know. I don't remember hearing about her.
No, I don't
And
either.
she was apparently like huge. Like, she met with celebrities and stuff. She had several interviews. She was an it girl in the spiritual community. I don't know.
I wasn't as
deep in the spiritual community around that time either, but
you'd think that with that kind of rapport, though, that her name would make the rounds to some degree. Because it's not like we didn't have spiritual. I guess I didn't have a spiritual community back then of any sort. That was more of my solo years. Wild.
Solo years.
Yeah.
So, like, spiritual red flags. That felt like a good topic. I don't know. It was heavy on my mind.
Well, and it's a smart topic to have because, like, while you guys go through this journey, you are going to meet people. You're going to come across people that inspire you, that help you out. You know, for some of us, it's going to be therapy. For others, it's life coaching. And for others, it's family, you know, or just a new friend that really embodies the kind of person you want to be, what have you. So yeah, most definitely being able to recognize where people are at instead of the expectation you hold to them, and then healthy ways or healthy signs of healthy connection building. I don't know, however you want to say it.
So my number one red flag is the only I know the way.
Oh yeah, that's a
trap. If a leader positions themselves as the sole gatekeeper to the truth, healing, or ascension, run. Like, have you ever felt like someone tried to gatekeep God?
No. I don't think I've ever experienced that. But, like, I can feel how off-putting it would be to have somebody just be like, you gotta go through me. Although, I guess in a sense with being...
Growing up in the Mormon church, there was absolutely that, like, Mormons are the only way. If they aren't Mormon, you shouldn't be hanging out with them. That's like asking to hang out with the devil.
Well, see...
Or have people who are trying to pull you away from your spiritual community.
See, I didn't have that big. It wasn't like shoved to me quite like that, but it was pick your friends carefully. And
I remember classes and things like that being said in class.
Well, see, I remember more of like my grandparents and my parents being more like, you know, you love everybody. At the end of the day, like, you remember, like, you're Mormon, and because you're Mormon, like, basically you're different and you're special, you know, and that's like the true path to heaven, if you will. It was like the big...
This is the one and only true way to be, and if anybody says any different, they're lying to you.
Yeah, see, I didn't have it put to me quite like that.
Like, you know how little kids come up to people and tell them, you know that smoking's bad for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know that's going to kill you?
Mm-hmm.
Like that, I remember growing up like that.
Mm.
To tell people that they're wrong.
Yes.
And they need to follow God, and they need to and give. There was a spiel. I remember learning a fucking spiel.
That's wild. I did not have that experience.
I absolutely. It's wild because coming out of something like that is like, whoa.
I think the hard one for me.
Whoa.
I think the hard one for me was the you have to, like, for the grievous sins, for the heavier, harder hitting ones that you commit, like, you have to go to a bishop. It has to be absolved through a bishop. Only through a bishop can you actually connect with God and get forgiveness, because they hold the keys and rights of priesthood. And I mean, it makes sense on paper, right? Like, it's logic, but it's also like you can feel it in your that intuitive center that, like, this isn't, like, there's something missing here. Like, why does that feel so ugh? And yeah, I mean, I think later on I've come to my own understanding of why that was decided to be a practice, and I think it was a twisted way of looking at things. I think it's more like the bishop should be able to stand in when somebody has a sin that they're having a hard time with the forgiveness aspect, whether it's with themselves or to God, and they ultimately can come to God. That's where he can mediate and be like, let me help you get there. Let me bridge the gap for you. But not, you must come to me as a gatekeeper in order because that's where
Right.
you lose me.
Right.
Yeah.
So when you're drawn to a spiritual or a wellness teacher, what keeps you grounded in asking questions rather than accepting it blindly?
How do I feel about this?
Does this resonate with me?
Mm-hmm.
Can I ask questions? That was a big bother. Can I ask questions? Are they going to answer me honestly? Or
Yeah,
is it just going to be pushed off as like, well, oh, you know, just God knows the answer, so pray?
There was a lot of
Or, hey,
obscurity
I don't
around
know.
there.
I'm going to have to look into that one. I honestly don't know. That's a good question. Are they accepting and
Open.
and curious as well and allowing that? Or is it like, hey, you need to stop asking that many questions. You honestly just don't believe.
Can you?
You're not that devoted, are you?
I'll see him, or even the other way of like, oh, well, you know, I don't know how to answer that question. Therefore, I'm just gonna quit answering or calling on you when you want to answer a question. That was my big one. It would be like, does anybody else have any questions besides Braden? I'm like, oh, that tells me one of two things. I'm either asking too hard of questions or too long of questions. Then you realize, you recognize, like, you know, like, everybody understands differently when it comes to the religion that they're trying to teach, even though they have, like, a guidebook for it. And, yeah, you start to have that whole discernment of knowing, like, who is going to be able to help you in your journey and who's really just there to pass the buck, so to speak. Yeah. Just to fill a position to make sure.
Like, you're
that
wrong
needs
for
enough.
having questions, or you're wrong for asking questions.
Yeah. I had teachers that were like that in school, where they were just, yeah, they didn't want to deal with the questions.
If shadow work is off the table and everything must be high vibe or else, it's spiritual bypassing dressed up in glitter. That's the love and light only vibes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're not gonna talk about those hard subjects. We're just gonna brush it under the rug and pretend that saying the mantras is going to eliminate all the bad, and you don't have to address it.
And that's like gaslighting yourself, man. Like, that's asking yourself to just not even bother to look at your level of accountability and things. So when you start having people that aren't willing to get into the nitty-gritty with you, you know, without having proper reason, like, this isn't my wheelhouse, I can't help you, or I don't have the space to be, like, the energy or the space to like, go over this with you right now, something of that nature, and it's just more of like, you just need to give it to God. Just give it to God, just let it go.
It's just such a brush it under the rug.
Mhm.
Like, you know what? You're just really low vibing right now. I can't do that.
That's how I feel with, like, the whole, like, positive thinking. I feel like people don't really understand what true positive thinking is, keeping it positive. It's not gaslighting yourself or hyping yourself up with these, oh, I'm grateful for the sun and the sky and this breath of fresh air and waking up in the morning. I mean, like, you can have, like, gratitude towards that, 100%, right? But if you're using these as a way to
Avoid.
to look past what needs looking at,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and you're thinking, well, I just got to get
That's
past
why
this
I
bad
wanted to
feeling.
talk about all the brain stuff, because it matters. Like, the switching over to gratitude, it has its place. It has its place in trying to build new neural pathways and stop staying in the rut, but that doesn't bypass the rest of the work that needs to be done to get you to feel that way. That doesn't bypass the rest of the hormones that are being released and doing that nitty-gritty work. Oh. It's so, yeah, frustrating. You're just low vibing. I can't vibe at that frequency.
And you know, and what's hard about that as well is, like, it's hard to know where you stand with yourself and with other people when that gets used as a fill-in or a cop-out for any situation, because then you're really like, well, what can I talk about? like what can be addressed. Is I guess this is something that I've got to do on my own because the people around me just keep telling me I need to buy fire.
Recognize the patterns. I swear, you can feel when it doesn't mesh. You are so smart. You have lived this long, and you are recognizing patterns. Recognize them and trust your intuition. When it doesn't feel right, ask questions. If you can't ask questions,
walk away.
That's not good.
No. What's next?
Where's the line between being paid for your work and spiritual capitalism?
Oh, yeah.
So with this guru Jugget lady, she was charging outrageous prices. It was tiered, and it was in a way that you could get exclusive access to just her. And the money was for her because she was the one saving you.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But the way that she went about doing it is where you're starting to see the difference. Because, think about it. When you're, with services that I'm offering, one of them being one-on-one courses, it does cost more. You are getting more one-on-one time with me. You are having more exclusive access to my energy. So, yeah. But in
her prices, though, were thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to have one-on-one time. The more money you paid, the more access you got.
That's wild.
It was ridiculous. There are videos in the documentary where she was talking about draining rich people and how they would pay this monthly thing until she drained them. That's the point. And in the video, it showed her like that. That's the point. And she said that.
So what?
There was a point where she was talking about how she didn't care about her employees' feelings.
That is, it's amazing that people can gaslight with spirituality. It's amazing that spirituality is something that's become so muddied. I mean, when I talk to people about spirituality, it's starting to fall into the same pretenses as Christianity. People are woke in a weird and wrong way. There's this I'm not going to say icky vibe when you tell people about spirituality, but when it's always follow-up, right? Like when someone says, I'm spiritual.
Well, it's become more...
Whenever it comes to when people say, I'm spiritual, or when I tell people I come from a more spiritual aspect, it's always a follow-up. Well, what does it mean to you? Or how do you practice? Or are you woke? Or are you woke? It's starting to get to that point where there is a delineating difference between those who are actually practicing and understanding spirituality and those who are using it as a tool to navigate life in a not so great way. And I feel like, it's just wild to watch it fall and siphon into that same limbic area that Christianity is. Now, granted, Christianity has a way bigger stigma because it's been recognized more thoroughly en masse for a much longer time, so it's had the time to gestate into that. But I guess part of recognizing that is recognizing patterns, seeing that it's happening again, and now helping to raise awareness in order for people to do their part in actually owning their spirituality, and through action, through actionable ways of making life better for not just you, but the people around you. Recognizing that selfishness is okay when it's not stepping on other people's toes or using them as a platform jumping board to get what you want while they suffer for it. If you're going to be selfish and try with all zest and zeal to get what you want, and you know that it requires the aid of other people with their skill sets, then do it in a way where everybody benefits and moves upward. And with respect and understanding to everybody's own path in life,
On the spiritual path, there are many people that believe because it's spiritual, it should be free to the community.
And but that's like a paradigm, right? Because spirituality is free. It's free for anybody to accrue and gain at their own pace through understanding. When somebody is willing to help you get there, equal energy exchange has to happen. Whether it's been talked about between the recipient and the giver, or it's the karmic tie that links the two together. There's always a way to keep the balance. And by addressing it at the front of things and recognizing what the equal energy exchange is from the get-go, it keeps you from having to step into karmic ties that you don't have as much control over, whether that's, I don't know, like it could be negative or positive. You never really know how, like, you have to get that energy back. It might be you spending your time with somebody else unbeknownst to you, and maybe a person you don't really want to be around. It could be you taking an L on your vehicle in a small way to make the recompense back of getting that energy worth. Whatever is yours is already yours. Whether you receive it from somebody directly or from another source unbeknownst to you, like, you're not missing out. So people stepping into spirituality and teaching others, giving freely, is a blessing, is a boon. It does allow for you to have it come back to you tenfold, right? And when you do help other people out of the kindness of your heart, there is no energetic tie there. But when people are talking about making sure that there is equal energy exchange, that sets the karmic tie in motion. And so from that point, you have the opportunity to talk about it and agree upon it, or take advantage of the services and watch it come out of your life in another aspect. Take advantage in a way that's unbecoming. Not take advantage of good opportunity, because everybody should take advantage of a good opportunity to help better their lives. Yeah.
There's a lot. The schooling that goes into it, the time and energy that you take to prepare everything, and just like people sell art.
Yep. It's the same.
Their time and energy goes into it.
And then think about it, guys. Like the information that you get, if you utilize it, if you can find the people that are giving you spiritual information with processes to be able to put it into motion, then you are buying something that is investing in yourself that will show you a return. It will help you get to that place where you are in a state of plenty, where you recognize that the universe is abundance, and it's okay to ask for more because it's limitless abundance. And everything that is yours is supposed to be yours is already yours. It's just up to you to align to each and every one of those things as they show up and where they show up in your life, right? Through your heart, through your mind, or through your words, and through your actions. When all three of those are in alignment, that helps you to stay open to receiving what is yours.
Unquestioned hierarchy. Gurus that demand reverence. Coaches who make themselves untouchable. That's not spiritual leadership. That's spiritual control. So, Yogi Bhajan YB, the founder of Kundalini Yoga in America, and later Guru Jagat, were accused of co-opting Sikh symbols and teachings to build prestige and profit. Only I know the way, the putting them on a pedestal to be worshipped, to do everything that they do, don't put anybody on a pedestal. Humans are fallible. We all make mistakes. I make mistakes. I do my best to be upfront and honest with them. I hope people call me out on them. Mm-hmm. And I hope people aren't scared to call me out on them.
And if they are scared, that they have the courage to anyway.
We all have our heroes, but I feel like it's best to pick and choose the things that you like about somebody that you want to emulate, but not them themselves. Mm-hmm. Are they living the life that you want? Do they act the way that you want to feel? Like, What do you think of when you think of success? Who do you think of? How are they dressed? How are they acting? How are they talking? How do you think they feel on a daily basis?
Yeah. Reverse that question and ask yourself, what does success look like to you? Wait, no, you just said.
Yeah.
I had another one. I don't know.
I personally love Pink, the singer. I think she is bold. I love the way she dresses. I like the way she talks. And it seems like she's a bold woman. And I try to emulate some of that. But not to put her on a pedestal and want to be Pink.
But it's recognizing yourself in her, right? Like those things that you admire about her, those things are traits that like you admire about her because those are your own traits that you want to grow and embellish, if you will. So that's really the whole perspective.
Keep it level. Don't go outrageous. Don't idolize your spiritual leaders like they're gods. They're humans. We all make mistakes. And we're all learning and doing the best with what we have. Stay humble. Stay humble.
I don't have any like figures like that in my. Yeah, I do. They're all book characters, which is fortunate for me, right? Because like, there's only so much you can do to put a book character on a pedestal. Like, you already know what they did. There's not anything in those books that like. Like it's all there. There's no hidden anything else about this person that may or may not come to light, unless an author decides to write more books after they decided to finish the series. But fascinating. And even if you did put him on a pedestal, it wouldn't matter because like becoming a character, like becoming the character that you idolize.
But recognizing the flaws in it?
How do you mean?
I don't know. There's usually something that makes them the way that they are.
Yeah, but that's the beauty of it, right? Like, it's already there. Those flaws are there for you to see. Like, you're reading
Yeah,
them.
but that can keep you, like, on a level surface, I feel like.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Instead of just, oh, Pink's the greatest thing in the world, you know.
You're right, because it's there for you to actually see the mistakes along the way. So then it's like, okay, I see what
build
you're
up
saying.
to that. So this is how I could overcome that as well.
Yeah.
And be like him.
Yeah.
Or her, you know, whatever your hero character was.
Sometimes it was a panda.
Sometimes it was a panda. That's cute. So, Yogi B, there were allegations of abuse that surfaced, and Guru Jagat publicly defended him, showing the danger of spiritual justification over survivor care. So that brings me to the next one. The next two. Download domination. When Spirit told me you need to, is used manipulatively.
That one's a really
no-go.
That's like
no-go.
Super intuitive, guys. If you are recognizing that they are using spirits or whatever religious figurehead,
spiritual lingo used manipulatively.
Well, when it's
real downloads don't come with control or shame. They don't come with control and shame.
And it's recognizing like the sentence structures that's being used with these. It's recognizing like, is this happening in a spiritual moment? Like, are the goosebumpies there? Is the intuitive gesture alive? Are we on a whole nother level with our conversation? And then words are coming out that I can feel truth in. And not that it's all truth, but you can feel the truth of what's being said that you can take with you. And if you're not in that realm, then that download has the potential to be the manipulation of somebody trying to have control over your life. Maybe even with the best of intentions. Maybe it's not like a good example would be growing up with my mother. You know, she had a lot of spirit told me, or God speaks through me moments, and like I don't question that she had those moments, but there were moments where it did come across more manipulative to me, and recognizing the sentence structure, like in what way is she delivering this message to me, what words are being used, it kind of started to give me the indicators of when it was control, but based out of love, and recognizing that that love was based out of fear, and it was based out of fear because she wanted what was best for her child, and so she perceived it as love and felt like it was okay to
that
be able
fear,
to.
that fear was high in my Mormon days. You could go to hell if you don't do this. Do you want to be separated from your family when you die?
The one commandment you can be perfect at is tithing for you. Like, and if you don't, then yeah.
How dare you wear that kind of a dress to church? You're gonna wear pants to church?
I can't believe you're wearing tennis shoes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that was a fair one. And you always know who was bringing friends to church. They felt so awkward. They were never dressed right. So to speak.
I was never dressed right.
Oh man, I was always dressed to the nines.
You want to go to church feeling like, oh, I hope everybody notices the kind of dress I wore today.
You know, I'd go to church knowing that there was no way they could judge me for not having the things like wearing tennis shoes instead of dress shoes, or wearing a polo shirt.
What a humble way to go into a holy place.
Yeah, I know. Like, yeah, you know, church gave me just as much as it took from me in a lot of ways.
Yeah. Ugh. Sexual energy entanglement is the next red flag. If a teacher flirts with you, seduces, or creates sexual power dynamics within their group, you're not in a soul tribe. You're in a red flag field.
I'm just gonna throw it out there, like, that flirting is a super gray area, because there are times where people think that I am flirting, and I'm not picking up on that. It is not what I was.
Well, that's perceived flirting.
Yeah, but
if you're sitting in the teacher position, you know.
That's what I'm saying, though, is even in the teacher position, like, my words just come out however my words come out. I'm being nice, I'm being, like, in the moment of, like, a teacher position, but it has still been perceived as flirting to some degree in some instances.
Yeah,
So, hold on, let me finish. So, what I'm saying is flirting that you can very much tell is flirting, yes, be aware of that, be weary of it. But if you felt like a teacher was flirting with you and you are not sure, then feel comfortable enough to address it with the teacher, because that will let you know exactly where their intentions are at, instead of reading it how you did and making it sound like the moment you hear flirting, run, question everything, because sometimes
we're going off the documentary.
I get that, but we're also having a discussion
and
clarifying.
Yes.
The other two, I'm not even, like, those are very much like absolute nots, but the flirting, because that is the threshold, that is where it starts.
When you get to the deep healing, and you're bringing up things that you don't normally talk about with other people, and getting that vulnerable and feeling safe enough to bring that up.
If they're taking advantage of that,
if that gets taken advantage of or perceived as a way of like, oh yeah, she wants me because she's opening up to me, or vice versa, then that's not cohesive for a safe environment to do that kind of healing.
Agreed.
So recognizing, and it's really hard to understand whether people are being genuine sometimes, or if it is flirting.
And if you are in that weird space of needing sexual healing, there are certified therapists, and I don't know anything about what and how they work, but I'm pretty sure it is not to take advantage of your vulnerability, but to help you be able to work through your own mental and physical blocks in that area. Anyway.
So, I feel, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like most spiritual teachers, coaches, healers would not physically touch you without asking if it's okay to touch you. I feel like somebody who is going to respect your boundaries is going to ask about physical touch before it happens. And I would hope that you guys are so smart. You guys are so smart. You recognize the patterns, or at least the little, like, caution light, and ask. If you don't feel safe enough to ask in that environment, then that's a good way to question whether the environment you're in is safe or not.
What just happened? Sorry, guys. Did I get kicked out?
I think so. Why do you think sex and power get so tangled in the spiritual space?
Because they are both tantric and very strong energies, and both are super enticing. And it's easy to mix the two together because of how intoxicating it is. And think about it, like, it kind of goes into that new partner energy, right? Like, it's the same rush of feeling when you get vulnerable with a new partner.
That is really good.
Time, it's easy to get lost in the entanglement of physical intimacy with them while getting vulnerable. And so that same dynamic presents itself in this area, or has a potential to in this area. And so, you know, a spiritual leader worth his salt has already worked through that bit of temptation, if you will, and recognized the place of things for healing to be able to happen in a proper way.
For sure.
Him or her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was really sad to see on the documentary.
Yeah. I am intrigued. Like, I would like to.
I really thought I was just watching a documentary about yoga. I did not think I was watching a documentary about a cult.
When you asked me if I had ever heard of Kundalini yoga, bro, like, I didn't realize it was like actual Kundalini yoga, because there is a yoga that is based around the Kundalini, and it is called pranayana, some random or some combination of those sounds. Anyway, and it deals with the serpent-like energy, and it has moves that are very much fluid and like water slashed away a snake would move, and it is to help activate the Kundalini. So I was like so excited to hear what you had to say about this documentary. I think it was going to be this like mind-blowing, oh my gosh, enlightening moment.
So my basic understanding before I watched the documentary of Kundalini yoga was a yoga that it was a practice that you could get high on.
Okay.
There's the rapid breathing.
Yeah.
You get high on oxygen pretty much, but it makes you a little bit, a wee bit delirious.
It's supposed to push.
You feel super euphoric.
It was supposed to push DMT from the base of your spine all the way up the spinal cord and into your brain. That's what those breathing exercises are for, along with holding the poses. It pushes all
And
of
the
that
mantras. Yeah, so I just understood that Kundalini, you could get high on
people were like,
Kundalini yoga.
And just think, well, and then no wonder why it was so easy to get culty, because especially in the American
when
culture,
you go through it, and most people say their first experience with the yoga is they felt amazing, and when they're in that euphoric, slightly delirious state, you could get them in and manipulate them to do things, and that's what these people were doing in the documentary.
So it's like a precursor to brainwashing, precursor to spiritual brainwashing. Get them high, talk to them,
Yeah.
implant
Yeah.
seeds,
Mhm.
let them come down, get them high, re-implant those same seeds, make them blossom. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
that is so fascinatingly grotesque. Like,
I know,
wow.
right? It was wild.
And that's something you could turn around and like get rid of the bastardization of, and you could be like brainwashing yourself for downloads, for understanding self, for being open. There's Adam, this guy that I met at the festival, had these three phase mantra that he speaks every morning. He wakes up, he looks at himself in the mirror, and he says, "Today I am looking, or I want to see right, hear well, and speak truth," or something to that degree.
Yeah.
And it's to set the intention for you to see the opportunities, hear where people actually are, and be able to say what needs to be said in order to be able to step through like all your moments of life in the best possible path on your journey.
I like that. That's beautiful.
Right? And like that's like if you were to just simply do that after each one of these Kundalini yoga sessions, how much different of a person you would become. Like, this is a really cool tool that has amazing use, but right now we are seeing the twisted version of it.
Right.
Crazy.
In the documentary, they were talking about how some teachers like to use Kundalini in their addiction and recovery classes because
It's so potent.
people going through recovery are going from addiction and they feel like they can grab on to Kundalini because of how structured and all-encompassing it is. So instead of, taking a class and then leaving and being like, okay, well, what do I do with the rest of my day?
Yeah.
Kundalini would give them all that structure for the rest of their day, and it was a lifestyle. So it worked really well in those situations.
It's almost like its own 12-step program.
Right?
Wow.
Next red flag is demonization of boundaries.
Ooh.
You're resisting the lesson. You're not spiritually ready. Translation, they're pissed that you said no.
But, yeah, I guess that's also circumstantial, because sometimes I be catching myself saying, bro, you are resisting hard, and there's nothing I can tell you to, like, get around that.
But
that's
demonizing the boundaries that you set.
You're right.
If you're not comfortable going forward and they're upset that you're not going to move forward or do what they tell you to do.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like we could sit there and be like, oh man, you're really resisting the lesson that life is throwing at you because you're not doing something different. But you'll get there when you get there.
When you see the pattern, you're ready to break it. Yeah.
The lesson that, or the thing that you're feeling resistance on will move when you change how you approach to it.
Yeah.
But you do that when you're ready. It's not.
I can't believe you're not doing this. Like, don't you get it? I'm helping you. Why won't you just? Oh my gosh! Like, can you figure it out already? I've given you the tools. Like, just do it. Just do it.
Just do it.
Yeah.
Weaponizing the community. Ever been iced out of a group when you stopped vibing with the leader? Exile, guilt, groupthink. That's not divine connection. That's cult tactic.
This sounds like a really good subplot for an anime. Like, you're walking into a town that's got this stuff going on. This whole what's his name? PK?
YB.
YB.
Yogi Bahara. Somewhere.
Weaponizing with community. That also was something that I noticed a little bit growing up. More in seminary class than actual church, but
if the teacher doesn't like you, you're not doing well enough.
Or
if the community turned against you in a spiritual space.
The lead kid in the group decides he didn't like what you had to say.
How do you rebuild trust after that? I remember one of the big things in young women's class was I wasn't memorizing scripture passages like everybody else.
Oh, yeah.
And so when they would call out
That's so
for
many
the scripture
words.
passage and everybody else was reciting it in class and I wasn't, I was like, so are you not studying the scripture? Like, what are you doing with your free time? Like, well, I just started high school. I don't know. I'm handling all the classes and the classwork load that's being put on me. It's my weekend. I'm here to learn. So you're supposed to teach me? I don't know. And I was singled out and I was chastised for not memorizing passages. So I just skipped young women's class and I would hide in the bathroom for the rest of church and just wait to leave.
I just told them there was no way in God's green earth I was going to remember that many letters.
Oh my God, I was the only person in the class of like 10 people.
Me
10,
too.
12 people.
Me too.
Oh no, that was not comfortable.
I was like, let me just
That was
bust out
so
my book.
uncomfortable.
You know, I made it uncomfortable for them because I like, hold on, let me grab the book, and then I would take forever to find the passage. And so then they just quit calling on me because they knew every time they called me, they'd have to wait for me to find it in the book. And sometimes I put in my best effort and just have one ready, just in case, just to make it look like
It
I'm
was
really
shortly
trying.
after that I asked to stop going.
At least you asked to stop going. I had to fight to stop going, and then it spiraled, and then I never run away from it. Like in a matter of a month, I quit church, then I quit school, and
That
then
was wild.
I quit home.
After that, we started visiting other churches, different types of churches, and
Trying to find your groove.
yeah. Then it was weird seeing all these other churches who are
Yeah.
not Mormon. Like, you have coffee
The
in your lobby? Caffeine? Wow, this church is so cool. They let you drink caffeine.
The first time I went to the Harvest, whatever church out there on.
You can wear pants? Oh my gosh.
It was such a wild experience. I don't know, I was beside myself. And then, like, I don't know, it was like a concert thing, right? So it wasn't even like a church session.
Oh yeah, that was wild too. The different
People that
worship
yeah.
songs that they sang.
Not even just the worship song. I think the thing that got wild for me was the prayer at the end. And I'll never forget it. And if any of you feel the need to like come forth and speak in tongues, let it out. Like, this is a perfectly safe place to feel God. And, you know, I see that now, like, where I'm at with my understanding is, like, potential light language. But coming from the Mormon stance back then, it was very much like, bro, if you are speaking in tongues and there's no understanding being made, that is not of God. And it made me feel super weird, awkward, uncomfortable. And, I don't know, it was quite the experience. But everybody was high-minded. Everybody was high-minded. So
Yeah.
it was just like to see a different perspective of what church could be was.
Oh, for sure. The different
Something
ways
else.
people were accepted and like
Yeah.
the less structured and you can't dress like that. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was
It was a breath of fresh air.
It was.
As like completely
okay.
roller coaster somersaulting feeling as it was.
This feels more right to be more accepting of people and meeting them where they're at.
See, and I don't know about right, but it felt more real to me. Like,
Yeah.
more human.
I don't know. I was still trying to figure out what was right and
You
wrong.
know,
like,
yeah, for a hot minute.
I don't like this. This isn't right. It doesn't make sense. No, that's wrong. That's wrong. That's what's in here.
Or it's like, yeah, this is right, until it's wrong, right? Like,
Yeah. You know
hear a
what?
great
Okay.
sermon
Well,
until
all of this
something
was
pops
good,
up.
but that was not okay. So
Yeah.
we're gonna hang on to this,
Yeah.
and we're gonna keep walking until we find something else.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
that fits. Oh, look at that. That makes way more sense.
It's two puzzle pieces from different boxes and they fit together so well.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Ugh. Yeah. Weaponizing community. So, non-human spiritual perfectionism. Leaders who pretend that they're above emotion, above sex, above doubt, above mistake. Okay, bitch, please. Divinity doesn't erase humanity. When they are so perfect. So in this in the documentary, YB and Guru Jagat, they were the epitome. They could do no wrong. So as they were teaching Kundalini Yoga and preaching the healthy living style and veganism and living a healthy lifestyle, all that, it was well known and taught in classes that YB, his favorite thing was Taco Bell, and he would take 2 Taco Bell things and he would mush them together and squish them, and that was his favorite go-to meal.
Hi, Rick. Hi, Gemini. Think we're popping up, saying hi.
And in all the classes that this Yogi Bharan guy taught, he never did yoga.
What?
He taught it. He preached it. He didn't do it. And Guru Jagat did do yoga, but towards the end, she was also like, do what I say, not as I do. And in the end of her stint, because she died in 2014 at the age of 41 from a pulmonary embolism.
That's not
She broke her foot.
She broke her foot and died?
She broke her foot, and a blood clot went boop. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that is insane. If that's not
Like 2 weeks
what?
after there was this nasty article written, and all of her stuff got turned upside down, and all her dirty laundry was on air, and it was proved that YB never gave her spiritual name. She wasn't told by YB to start her stuff.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, a lot of her stuff was proven wrong. But yeah, they could do no wrong. And she gained at the end of her thing, she weighed like 250 pounds. She had gained like 70 pounds on her journey of being Guru Jagat.
She became slothful in her nature.
And greedy. And rude. And manic. And she got super deep into conspiracy theories. During COVID. She was used to like touring 200 places a year, and then she was shut in, and she did not do okay with that. So, have you ever felt the pressure to be perfect in your spiritual journey?
No. But I have felt the pressure to, like an inverse of that, of like, it's never good enough. So it's not that I need to be perfect, but what I do is never the epitome of what it could be, in a way that was self-defeating, not in a way that inspired you to take the next step to be better, but that wasn't good enough, I could do better. Oh man, that was fun, but like, you like rob yourself of the joy of the accomplishment of the moment. So
For
in
sure.
that sense, it's like its own form of weird self-punishment or punishment for trying to actualize perfection. So, yeah.
I felt like I couldn't do this all this that we created, because I wasn't perfect enough to teach classes or to
Like my life's not
talk.
together enough to
Yeah, I am not spiritual. I am not. I can't tell people things. I don't have degrees and enough gray hairs to go on Facebook or anything and say stuff.
Mine was like the monetary success. I don't have a nice car. I don't have a ginormous home. I don't have finer things. Like, how can I prove to people that life is good if I can't show them?
I don't even know where that belief came from.
Right?
Like, who do I know that has all of? I don't know. It just kind of seems like most people who talk about stuff
I think it
know all the things.
It could stem a little bit from religion. I think it also. I remember my mom always wanting things to be done a certain way, because that was the way that it would get done. That's the right way. Just listen to me and it'll be done right? And I think that somehow blended in later to my own, like, gosh, if I just listened to myself and did it a little bit different, and you don't even know, right? Like, you start gaslighting yourself on these imaginary outcomes that didn't ever come about. You don't know how much better it would have been. You don't know how much worse it could have been if you'd have gone a different direction. And yeah, sometimes you're like, oh man, I dropped the ball and I should have done this different, and you know.
For sure.
But there are other times where you just second guess and doubt the outcome that you got because there's no way it could have been that good. Oh, it could have definitely been better, and you don't give yourself the credit. You don't give yourself.
Yep. Playing a sport.
Yeah, because like. Well,
never did the dishes right.
Yep. So like when you're proud of yourself as a kid for accomplishing something, and then you get railroaded by your parents saying, "Oh well, you could have done it better." I think that's where it stems for me. Yeah. That whole mindset of like inverse perfection.
Try not to do that to my kids.
That's hard. You don't realize when you do it.
It's like it totally makes sense why Dad was so mad about picking that clean dish out of the cupboard and it's covered in grease. Like, ah!
My dad made me drink out of a spoiled milk cup because I didn't wash all the milk out of it, and it had milk floaties, and he made me drink half that cup. And it didn't do anything for me to clean my dishes any better because it was an eyesight thing.
Mine pulled all the dishes out of the cupboard and told me I had to clean them all. And then I went and did that to my kid. And then I quickly realized what I was doing. Do I admit to my kid?
That's always the question, isn't it?
Whitney, what do you do? Yes, I
you let him suffer through it and say, next time.
No. I try. It's embarrassing to do it in front of my kid, but like...
Really? I think it's
to call myself out and say like, hey man, I fucked this up. I didn't mean to be so rude. I recognize. I'm working on making it a more normal thing. But yeah.
Having to do that
apologizing to my kids.
Having to do that with my 7-year-old has been the most liberating thing in the world. Like, because now we can have conversations when Dad drops the ball.
Yeah, I can do it with him earlier, but I feel like Elijah's definitely reached a really mature point.
So then
like
it should
a year or two ago. But when he was like 9, no. I'm like, he can't know I fucked up.
Oh wow, that is wild. No, mine.
It took me a while.
Mine was. I think. But
my kid was like 4 or 5, and I was taking on a 9-year-old, and I felt like he could absolutely see through my crap. I was like, you can't show weakness to him.
Oh wow. See, I guess I don't have that. Right?
He's gonna eat me.
I don't have that experience. I never had to take on another kid's, but coming from a place of not having paternal instincts, like man, missing my kids, that's new to me in all that ways, right? But in that process, I because emotions weren't as much as involved as I would have liked for them to be, I had to learn how to get vulnerable and own my shit with my kids and be like, hey, I dropped the ball. My 7-year-old the other day, I got so irritated. I started yelling, raising my voice, just rushing through things, and then like everything got done. I calmed down and I had to sit down with her and I was like, Dad dropped the ball, didn't he? She goes, yeah, you did. You don't need to yell, Dad.
Girls, man.
Right.
Girls.
So right. I don't need to yell. I was like, but also, I need your help in making it where I don't get to that point. So when I start talking to you and asking you to do these things, I need you to clue in. Like, this is important. Dad wants it done for a reason. Like, if you gotta ask the reason, but like, let's try and stay focused and get a move on with that. So Dad's not yelling. And then on the inside, on the other side of that, I'm looking at myself like, patience is a virtue best when young. And you know what? There's no rush to get anywhere with anything with your kids on the weekends because nothing is planned, and everything that is planned doesn't have like a timeline deadline unless it's closing time. So, like, calm down, Brayden. Doesn't matter how long it takes them to tie their shoes and actually get them on their feet. If they really want to get out that door, they're going to get out that door. And I can go ahead and give them nudges to remind them that they want to get out the door. Instead of yelling at them and getting impatient. Because I recognize that's what my parents
it earns a lot of respect from the kids. I feel like I gained some serious brownie points with Elijah.
Yeah.
By admitting that I'm doing my best and I didn't know how to raise a 9-year-old, so I'm just winging it. Like,
and he's like, cool, I can get on that level with you.
Yeah, but remembering to keep doing that and sucking up the frickin' pride of admitting to my kids that I messed up too. But I feel like the big thing I want to impart on them is that I don't even know how to say it. Like calling yourself out, and
I want them to be able to see that conversations over uncomfortable things are perfectly normal. I want them to be able to go into their relationships, boyfriends, girlfriends, what have you, and be able to be like, all right, guys, we gotta talk about this. That was not okay. We all had a blowout, and we gotta address this, or what have you. Like, normalize it, you know? That's my big thing, because I don't want my kids growing up in an abusive, emotionally, mentally, or otherwise, abusive relationship, and not being able to get out of it because they've been so damaged, because they didn't have the tools to address these things.
Gosh, that mom guilt right there, like, oh, how traumatized are my kids because of me?
But you know what? That's part of their soul contract. They chose you to be their mom. They knew what they were getting into in the before. Like, the traumas are there because that's where the growth is. And we never want to intentionally impart traumas on our children, but we should also be grateful for the traumas we give them, because that's their opportunity to be able to work through it and do it better for their generation. And it can be done if you're willing to acknowledge those traumas with them as they show up, instead of ignoring them. Yeah, well, they're the next version of you, and they're human, right? Like, yeah, we're raising kids, guys, but we're raising humans. We're raising little people to become big people, and we recognize through our own childhood and how we were raised how much past generations have failed at showing you how to truly be an adult
on Earth.
And
be happy.
Yeah, and we're not talking like the physicalities of like going to work, being responsible, having a house, and all these other things, but really like how to conversate,
emotional intelligence, and recognize their feelings, and how to maneuver through them. Yes, emotional regulation. Yeah, recognizing patterns so that you can break them, so you can find newer, better ones. All of those things, like those life skills, have helped exponentially, and that's why a lot of you guys come to this site, so you get inspiration for your own. We're raising some seriously freaking dangerous kids, man. Oh, yeah, we are. Have you heard Elijah out and about in life? No. He's a dangerous kid. He said some things to his manager that adults say, not kids. I'm like, who? He didn't like when I said that. I was like, well, you're a kid, man. It's not normal for kids to say those things. Like, you worded it really well and really maturely, and then you walked away, and kids don't walk away. And that's not something that even adults can do very well. Like, that's something like our generation has finally started to figure out, from like our mid-20s to our early 30s, you know? Like, yeah, there's some silver-tongued kids, man. You're not wrong there. Hello, Nicole. Hello, Iris. Nice to see you guys again. Oh, and there's Elijah. Speak of the devil. We were just talking about you. Alright, so have you ever experienced spiritual teaching that felt off, but you ignored your gut? Yes. Yes. What happened? Yes. Oh my gosh. What? Man. Wow, this sounds juicy. It's not that juicy, but it was something that I ended up expounding on. Oh, look, we summoned Elijah. We were talking about him. Talking about how you're a silver-tongued kid and we're raising some Amber. Dangerous kids who are emotionally intelligent. Ah, man. But it didn't cause a whole lot of harm.
but it took me a while to realize that I had worked myself into a dead end, and I had to go back to the root of it and re-understand the teaching that I was given so that I could go back on a better path. And I was just like, as I went farther and farther of like trying to expound on this teaching pattern that was given to me, it just it felt like it's coming more from me than from spirit. There was less and less of the goosebumpy vibe the farther down that trail I went. And I'm just like, man, I'm losing it. And for a while there, that's what I thought. I was like, oh no, I lost my spiritual connection. And in a sense, you know, I did, because I was coming at things from a different angle that that was just not the path I needed to go down. And then coming full circle, being able to step back and recognizing that it was like 2 or 3 sentences in that whole little bit that I was given that needed to change. And once it did, I realized just how dead that concept was and how it didn't serve a purpose. It was rooted in too many generational curses. And I got to let it go. And man, it was like taking a breath of fresh air. Got the goosebumpy vibe back. Started rolling forward harder on places I needed to go in the spiritual realms for growth and inspiration. And but it was a good lesson. It teaches you, like, really, your intuition serves you well. That is your inner higher self asking you to acknowledge the truths that it's trying to give you. It's coming from authenticity, and it may not be interpreted right by you in the beginning, but that interpretation, understanding, learning how to properly communicate with your own intuition grows, and eventually it hits a level of infallibility to where you can trust it 100% of the time, knowing that even if you misunderstand the intuition that you're feeling, that it's not going to lead you astray. It'll just take you a little bit longer to get back to what you were trying to get to, you know? What about you?
So back when I was a youngin' in my first marriage, it was falling apart, and I could feel it falling apart, and I was trying desperately to save it. So I went back to Christianity because he was Christian, and he was very much against me seeking out, like, witchy stuff.
This is the way.
So I thought if I went back to the church and whatnot, then maybe I could attract him back to me. And I don't remember how it came about. I don't know if I sought it out or just found things to latch onto, but I was following this spiritual teaching that you should submit to your man. And
I think there's a proper way to do that.
for sure now. Now it's more of like a divine masculine, divine feminine kind of thing.
And in mutual
but
respect,
from the Christian
sure.
aspect that I was going from, it was how to be a submissive woman and fully submit.
Oh,
and
wow. Yeah, that's a scary way to be.
I knew it was wrong. I knew it was wrong. And I did it anyways. I tore myself apart. I dismembered who I was, and I tried my hardest to be a submissive, quiet, kept,
meek
little thing to make him happy. And it did not make him happy.
Of course it did.
Nothing worked. But yeah, I don't even know how I pulled away from that. I still will forever to this day give Shaniqua White all the credit for my divorce. She popped in out of nowhere. We've been friends since middle school. And we had grown up. I had gotten married. She'd had kids. I had kids. And things happened in our life. And she was like, hey, let's hang out. And we go walk on the rims. And she's like, how are things going? And I give her my sob story of my disastrous marriage. And she's like, why are you with him if he treats you like that? Why am I with him? I could leave. I could leave. We'll just get divorced. And then I went home and I packed up my shit and I moved in with my dad.
Just like that, huh?
Just like that, because she said something and everything clicked.
Wow.
There were millions of people telling me to leave him beforehand,
But it just takes that one person to plant the seed.
yeah, she was never around. She didn't know him. She didn't know what I was talking about.
And she's still saying that.
Yeah, so
That's a wild perspective. Most people are like, I don't know, I've heard it the other way where it's, well, you don't know, you're not around, you don't see who he really is. If you saw him, you would understand what I was trying to say with him. I've been a part of that gaslighting procedure, you know. So to have somebody come out and randomly just say it to you, like, man, they don't even know this guy and they think he's a fuck. Like, alright, okay.
she just listened.
And that's all it takes, right? You just need somebody to like really hear you. Listen to you.
The whole submitting to your man, I was coming at it from a nasty perspective.
Yeah.
A nasty perspective. I was trying to last straw, last ditch effort. If I can just change who I am. I am a meek, quiet, submissive woman.
I did the same thing for
I can do it.
I did the same thing for my first wife. I tried real hard to be, I don't know, it was always back and forth. It was like, she wanted me to be religious and with the Mormon religion, and then she'd fall out, and then I would fall out, and then like, things would be rocky, and I'd be like, well, let's go back to the religion, and then she wouldn't want to, and it was just this back and forth. It was never, you could never find the synchronicity to just stand in, and then one day I was like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I just, you get me spiritually high, and then you rip it away, and then like I find my spirituality, and then you tear it down, and I could just, I finally just was like, I can't do this anymore. But yeah, I tried so many different things, man. Like, I was taking showers from a camp shower stall inside my own shower because the fluoridated city water was too much for her after completely detoxing through a extreme lifestyle change made for people who are terminally ill with cancer and trying to reset their whole autoimmune biome. Yeah. Like, baked potatoes with pepper was my healthy snack. We had a distiller that we had purchased to distill our own water. Yeah, like to the nines. So I'm very familiar with that. Like, changing yourself, trying to be something.
We both got married really young.
Yeah, we did.
I was still in high school when I met my first husband.
Me too, 16.
Yeah, he met me when I was 16.
Yep.
And he was 26.
Oh, wow. Mine was, I think, 6 months older than me.
And then I turned 18, and he was like 28, 27.
What?
Turning 28. Yeah.
I did not realize he was that much older than you.
Yeah.
No
yeah,
way.
my parents were not supportive from the get-go.
Yeah, I can see why.
Bless my dad's heart, though. The day before I married him, whether he approved or not, he didn't ask my dad's permission. My dad was so snubbed. He was so upset. He was so upset what I was doing. He was so upset that he didn't ask permission, that he just skipped everything, that he's older than me, and he did not support my wedding at all. The day before my wedding, he finally came around and he's like, all right, I'll walk you down the aisle. You're my girl. I was his first kid.
Oh, man.
I'm like, oh my gosh, Daddy, thank you. I mean,
As
a parent, you know, like,
wow.
I can see how hard that was, and I would 100% do that for my kid, but like,
The things we do for our kids.
I knew better because I was 18 and I was going to do it anyways.
Right, yeah. That was like the stipulation. Like, we had to get married in order for her to move in with me because she was 17. Convinced me to get her pregnant so that her mom would let her marry me underage because I turned 18 in September.
So you got her pregnant?
Yeah, well, she told me to get her pregnant so that we could marry and move in together. Like,
That's
I
wild.
can't tell you how brainwashed I was through that whole experience, man. It was a whole thing. It was a whole thing. Like, that whole relationship was built on lies and deceit from beginning to end, and I fell for a hook, line,
People
and
are so manipulative.
Yeah, master manipulative.
Learning boundaries would have helped a whole lot, man.
Yeah.
Learning boundaries would have helped so
so
much.
Yes, so much would have been, but without
there was
that,
a way to be in relationships then, and it was carried through school. It was carried through what we saw through TV, everything else. It was so fantastical.
It was, and it was so specific, right? Like, everything it was structured. It was very structured. I'm starting to realize now, like, dating in my 30s is totally different, and I'm recognizing that a lot of people that are hitting in that same age group are starting to recognize that dating is not the way we did it in high school.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's the pattern that needs to be broken in order to really have good connections. So, like, oh, that's it. This is the one. This is the one.
There's so much that's changed in the online dating scene, because a lot of us didn't date online. Well, okay, that's not true. There was MySpace. Back in our day.
I never did any kind of dating online until
my
30s.
Shoot, you know what? When was MySpace? Was that middle school?
Yeah, for me it was.
We were in the same grade.
I know, but like, I was never technologically in those kind of things.
Oh, yeah,
so, like,
when did you have your computer?
It was introduced, and we never had a home family computer, so like, we had gaming systems galore, but we never had a computer. Yeah, never had internet.
Yeah, online dating wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
That wasn't a thing.
No.
And now it's
a hard thing to deal with.
Yeah.
It's like pointless. It's so pointless. It's a trap. Yeah. It's a trap.
It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so glad I'm not in that field anymore.
I'm so glad I stepped away from the online.
I am so lucky.
Yeah.
I love you, babe. I'm so lucky. So how do we create spiritual community where leaders model integrity and not idolization?
Your mom just showed up.
Hi, Mom. How do we create spiritual community where leaders model integrity and not idolization?
Through example. If they are not doing the things that you would do as and it makes you question life, then I don't know, it's kind of like how you have your inner circle of friends, and then you have your friends, and you have your acquaintances. It's kind of that same thing. It's setting up boundaries boundaries and values that you feel specifically you would like to have in your spiritual leaders, and making sure that those parameters are met, and they don't have to be perfect in all of them or any of them, but if they are practicing
are fallible.
those,
Grace is, where
it's kind of like the stoicism that I have on my Facebook page. I love it because it's so direct in these structured, like, no BS, look past the bullshit kind of way. And then on the other side of things, I have these posts that are very, very spiritual, and they really speak to the heart about just the ways of being human. And I appreciate what they both have to offer, and I don't hold one in a higher degree to the other, because I know that together is where, like, the harmony is, right? So when I look at my spiritual group, when I look at people that I feel inspired by, that's what I look for. Can they mix the stoicism with the spirituality of today and find that beautiful blend? That
can they admit when they're wrong? Do they invite questions?
Mm-hmm.
Do they respect boundaries?
Mm-hmm.
Or are they pushing boundaries? Is there pushback to questions?
Well, and if they're pushing boundaries, are they trying to break old parameters and mindsets that you have to help you have a different perspective and clarity through your own recognition? Or are they pushing boundaries to be able to take advantage and put you in a place of unease? for their own gain.
Recognizing the spiritual lingo being used as manipulation.
Mm-hmm. Damn, this was an awesome one. Super long. Yeah, for it. Feels super long.
I want to meet people at the edge of their burnout. Not to push harder, but to show a softer, slower way to ground into your body, into the wisdom. Not blind worship.
You know what's beautiful about meeting people at the edge of their burnout is you get a very humble version of them. And if you show up as a safe person where they can feel safe, then they are more valuable to be able to shape themselves into the person that they want to become, because they've already hit that spot of like, man, everything else I've tried to do doesn't work. What you're saying really aligns with what I want to be. I think I can do the steps, right? I think that's my favorite part of meeting people at the edge of their burnout, is they're ready for the change.
My favorite is when they realize that they can do it.
Yeah, that is a beautiful step, for sure.
That they can do it themselves.
Or they did it. You know?
Yes.
They took that first step. They said the hard thing to somebody. They confronted what
Yes.
value. Yeah.
Yes.
Those beautiful breakthrough moments are like
You have all the
top
tools.
tier.
You are the only gatekeeper.
Hello, Camilla. Wait, is it Camilla?
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 Yes.
Cleveland? Alright, cool. That's way better than Camilla.
Spiritual red flags. Do you have anything else to add?
Well, you guys, I would just like to say, at the end of the day, don't put too much pressure on yourselves to get leaders in spots of your life to do the things. You have all the tools and all the know-how necessary to be able to move forward with your life. Be excited to be inspired by those that inspire you, and be aware of how much of your own energy you are giving to these individuals in a capacity that is healthy.
Mm-hmm. So to recap real quick, we went over the Breath of Fire documentary. The Breath of Fire showcases how Kundalini Yoga, developed by Yogi Bhajan, evolved into power structures rife with financial and emotional exploitation. It's the 4-part HBO documentary series, docu-series. It draws a parallel between Guru Jagat and figures like Elizabeth Holmes, showing how ambition and charisma can blur into manipulation. It is a good cautionary tale of how deeply spiritual practices can get twisted, and why spiritual seekers must remain vigilant. We went over all these red flags in the spiritual community. You recognize them. You're smart. Don't discount your own intuition.
And remember, we all have potential to be the leaders of today and tomorrow. So if you're having a hard time finding somebody that inspires you, that can lead you and guide you in the direction you want to go, then maybe that's because you are the one that's supposed to be the leader for yourself. And it does require a bit more footwork, but it's very much worth it and overly rewarding, especially because you then find a process to be able to teach what you know to others in whatever capacity suits you. Whether that's making a school or just having a friendly chat with the guy on the bus stop.
Or making your own Facebook Lives.
Oh yeah, that too. Indubitably.
Thanks for sticking around, guys, and thanks for being patient while we came to the live again late. But my hair's all done. Look at it. It's so pretty. Look at it. It's so pretty. We got new dudes. Nails done. It was worth it. Self-love.
What a great hump day.
Alright, have a good night, everybody.
Alright, until next time. Alright, this is going to take me a little bit.
Oh,
to
next
figure
week?
out.
Next week, April will be here. And we're going to go back over sacred geometry.
Oh man, I can't wait to.
We are going
dig
to
into that.
redo the Sacred Geometry Live with April.
Oh yes.
So check it out next week. We will be on time. I'll have it figured out. We will all be together in person, so no technical difficulties are expected.
Oh, that'll be
Next
so
week,
great.
April will be here.
Oh wait, sorry. Next week I'm gonna be out of town. Possibly. I gotta find out for sure.
Well, you may or may not be there, but April will be here.
All right. Yeah, and that's all that matters because as long as there's good reception where she's at, so that
Yeah.
the words can get out properly and not interrupted due to poor signal strength.
We'll figure out if you can pop in or not.
Yeah.
But you won't be the one going.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Right on. All right.
Thanks, everyone.
Till next week. Bye.
Wow.
Bye.